Today I'm joined by Perrie Sian, entrepreneur, content creator and now fashion founder. From financial struggle to record-breaking collections, Perrie's story is one of resilience, honesty and proving that where you start doesn't define where you finish. So let's find out why she's a lady who launched.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
Right, before we get into it, if you like this episode, which I know you're going to, please don't forget to like and subscribe and to share it to your group chat. Well, thank you so much for coming here. I'm so pleased to sit down and talk to you. I've kind of been watching like videos recently that I've seen and how kind of successful your latest launch has been. So I can't wait to sort of go way back and unpack everything. And I always start these conversations in the same way, and that is kind of talking a little bit about the younger you and like sort of tapping in to see if that entrepreneurial kind of route was always what you had planned. So I know you've spoken really proudly about being the call centre girl from Bedford, which I suppose isn't the typical path that people would think when they see you now. So when you look back, did you ever think that this would be possible for you?
Not in a million years. And I know that's like a bit of a cliche answer, but I didn't get given opportunities. Like I didn't have like role models growing up that would give me the sort of guidance to even make me believe that I could go and do something like this. Like I love my family, I love my mum, I love my dad, but they come from very modest backgrounds, very modest jobs. You know, my dad was a lorry driver, my mum worked in a post office. They're not, you know, entrepreneurial people. And I still actually struggle to answer where my entrepreneurial sort of thing has come from. Really.
And sort of wanting that like financial independence.
So important to me, like because I've been in a place where I was so financially irresponsible and found myself in quite a bit of debt and just found myself making really bad choices. And now being on the other side, I look back and I almost feel a bit sorry for myself looking back, but I realised that it came from a place of just no education about finances, saving, taxes, nothing.
But that's just not what we're taught, is it? And I think, like you say, particularly if you are from, and I, you know, really relate to you in that I'm from really, really modest beginnings. And I remember saving up to buy my first property, and we were in the girl band, and it was like, I got this check and I'm like, right, I'm going to buy a house. And I remember my mum being like, oh, yeah, obviously, you know, if you sorted all your bills out, your water, and I'm like, I have to pay for water? That's the thing.
And council tax.
Yes, and just not really, and I mean, they're better now, but I feel like there needs to be much more of a focus in those kind of like formative years of how that looks, because it would really shape decision making, I think.
Yeah, I had no idea like about credit score. So when I was younger, I messed up my credit score so bad, but I was so embarrassed, I didn't tell anybody. So like my mum, like no one knew. And I think I didn't tell my mum because I knew she couldn't help me. So I didn't want to burden her with information where she would be like, well, I can't do anything about this. Like I can be there for you as a support system, but I can't actually help you financially. So I was very much like, I don't want to tell anyone, but I couldn't get a mortgage, couldn't get a car, couldn't get a phone bill. So I was very much comparing myself to my friends that had all these things going on. You know, they got a mortgage when they were like 23. I didn't get my first house till I was 31 because I physically had such a bad credit score. I couldn't get a mortgage, and it was like such a journey to get myself to like back on. And I really just looked at online guidance, like looking at people online. There wasn't really anything else that I could find that would help me. So it's definitely a gap, 100%.
Yeah, and because that's a really isolating experience to live through that and live through those problems and not sort of have anywhere to go, because you don't want to it's really hard for your close friends or family to be neutral and objective, right?
I was also just embarrassed.
Yeah, and you don't want to put pressure on them too.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine turning around to my best friend at the time and being like, I'm in debt and I've got a credit score where I can't, you know, even rent a house. Like I would feel embarrassed, like what her reaction would be, like that knee-jerk reaction, even though I know she would have been like, oh my God, Perrie, like let's sort it out, like let's do this, let's do that. She would give me her last bit of money, you know, but I just felt so deeply ashamed. I think shamed is the real word. Like, you know, when I look back, I think, oh, I feel sad that I was so ashamed, you know?
And I suppose that the kind of, it's really hard in those situations because you really feel like the onus is really on you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been silly or I've not been smart. And I think, like you say, there's an embarrassment attached to that, which is so sad because it's so common. Like you're not supposed to know how to deal with money, how to handle it and what that looks like. Let's talk about sort of school years and what it was that you thought that you wanted to do.
I always thought I wanted to be a teacher. I always felt like I had a great relationship with children. Like I'm one of 5,
right,
and I'm the second oldest, but they're all half siblings. So but I've always been around children, and I always just felt like I could be a great teacher. But then I fell into like dancing and singing, and I was never the best, but I wasn't bad. That's how I explain it. I
feel you, girl.
Yeah,
I
was never Whitney Houston, but I also like probably could have maybe
you could wing it.
I could have got to the first round of the X Factor. Right, okay. Maybe. Okay, that's about it. And then I would have like been.
And you probably would have been smart and bought a career out, you know, would have become a personality around it.
Exactly. So I was like, but I was a hard worker, and I always was like, I'll outwork everybody. I might not be the best skill wise, but I'll outwork everyone. I'll be the first here, I'll be the last out, I'll be the most consistent. So I then sort of fell into going to college. I did acting and I did really well. And then I sort of found myself at that crossroads that I think everybody goes through, which is I either go to university or I don't. And financially, I couldn't go to university because I could have got a uni loan and everything, but I just didn't feel passionate enough about any particular field to go, I'm going to go to uni and do acting. So I just went and got a job. And that was how my career started. I went and worked in House of Fraser in a call centre and at my local social club pulling pints. That was like my 3 things, and I just rotated those jobs over and over again until I was able to move on, basically.
And out of the 3 of them, what job did you kind of take to the most? What did you think? Oh, okay, I'm all right here.
I loved working in retail because I loved speaking to people and I love fashion. So I worked for Coast. Do you remember Coast? Yeah. So Coast was like my bag. I worked there. I got the job on my 16th birthday. What was funny about Coast is that it was all like bridesmaid dresses and like mother of the bride.
That's what it reminds me of. Someone after a wedding.
Yeah. And at the time I was going through my punk era, let's call it. I was going through an era, let me tell you. This is why I will not be partaking in the 2016 trend.
I'm desperate for you to share it now.
What I won't be doing is that. No one needs to see that on the internet. However, I definitely was going through a moment. So I didn't really fit the aesthetic of Coast at all. And they always used to like, not tell me off, but they used to be very like annoyed about how I would turn up to work just because I didn't fit the mould of what their brand was.
Suppose you weren't on brand for them.
I wasn't on brand. I wasn't. And looking back, I can see why they were annoyed because I wasn't on brand, but I was also like a bit slapdash, a bit here or there. But what I was committed. I was always committed and I always wanted to do really well. But I always felt extremely misunderstood by everybody around me. And that's something that I'm so grateful that I can do what I do now, because for the first time in my life, I don't feel misunderstood.
And why do you think that was?
I think because I was quite loud, I was ambitious, I would challenge the narrative all the time in my job. So it was like, in Coast, as an example, we'd get given like a to-do list. In the to-do list, it would be like, you need to VM the section, like, and this is how you VM it. It's a like bridal brand. You need to put this here, this there, this there. But sometimes I would move things around. Be like, I actually think that looks better. I'm going to just dress this mannequin in this way, like, because I felt a bit trapped, like it was a job. So I wanted to challenge my own creativity and skill, and they wouldn't like that. And I would always get not like told off, but just a bit like snidey remarks here or there. And it just made me realise pretty quick that I'm probably need to move on, or I need to try something where I can be myself a bit more.
You needed that sort of creative outlet.
Yeah.
And at what point did it dawn on you the creative route that you wanted to go down?
Well, I ended up leaving House of Fraser to go work full-time in a call centre, again, because of money. Like, I felt like I was constantly burdened by this financial pressure. So it was like, yet again, I ended up having to go somewhere maybe I wouldn't have picked for myself because financially I had no choice. So I ended up working full-time in a cold calling centre. So my job was to call small businesses and speak to them about card machines, chip and pin machines. Right. And it was, it was a fairly easy like job in terms of it was Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. But it was cold calling. So it taught me a lot of like skills, around like objection handling, having quite thick skin, people putting the phone down on you, etc. But then I sort of, again, found myself at that crossroads and I was like, I don't really know like what I'm doing here. Like I've got no progression. And I was very much always a progression person. I want the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And then COVID happened and that's how I started getting into what I do now, content creation.
Do you know what? COVID was really one of those funny sort of, it's a funny time, just the wheels kind of fell off the world, didn't they? But for businesses and for people really, like that light bulb moment for a lot of people.
It was the game changer.
So talk to me about through that time, how it looked, where you were in your life, and then what you decided to do.
So I was coming out of the other end of my financial issues. I will say that I'd managed to pay off all my debt, which was such a, like, I cannot explain how big that was for me to be able to just have a job where I earned money and paid normal bills, rent, whatever. I still didn't have a mortgage, but just be able to breathe a little bit and be like, actually, I could maybe go on holiday now, or I could maybe do this because I've got a bit more financial flexibility.
And thank goodness me that happened before that time where not, you know, people were losing jobs and everything in between.
Exactly. And I then just found myself with time, which I think is, you know, a lot of people can be really time poor. And I just found myself with time. And also, I've always loved fashion. Like, I've always been the Primark, Topshop, River Island girl. I'd always be going in there. So I was like, I always had this fashion flair, and I just loved buying clothes. Like, at that time, I wasn't being irresponsible. Like, I learned my lesson, and I'd really learned my lesson through learning my lesson.
Right.
I learned my lesson through being in those bad times.
And back to that, do you think that you're kind of like the debt and the kind of, I suppose it just snowballs, doesn't it? When you're in that position, you can't. Do you think there was a little bit of kind of living beyond your means?
100%.
Almost, because, you know, you're like, okay, but I need the outfit because I'm going out.
Yeah,
and then
not even the outfit. Like, it was actually just more of a lifestyle that I was attaining. I think I was maybe hanging around with some people that, like, I was trying to keep up with their lifestyle, but also even like learning to drive. I didn't have the opportunity for my parents or something to pay for that. So I had to find the money for that. Buying my first car, I had to find the money for that. And I know that's a very normal thing to do. But for me, all of my friends, like, their parents bought their first cars and, you know, all of that. So I felt like I was comparing to them. Like, I'll never forget one of my best friends who I love so dearly. I remember she got a yellow Mini Cooper for her first car. The feeling inside my body, it wasn't jealousy. It was just pure gut-wrenching disappointment. Like, I felt so disappointed in myself. Like, how am I in this position? And not anger towards my parents, just like frustration, like pure frustration of how do I get that? And the only way I saw myself getting that was another job. But then the more jobs seemed to just come, I then just ended up needing more money. I just never seemed to get out of this hamster wheel. So I feel like the only way I got through it was getting through it, really.
Yeah, and I suppose then it becomes the mission to kind of build the life that you want for yourself.
And you learn. Like, I look back at myself then and I think, I never want to be in that position again, not only from a place of financially, but also like mentally, and just like being down on myself and giving myself horrible negative self-talk, which is actually just not me as a person. Yeah. But I feel like you become a victim of that situation.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It totally does. So then let's fast forward to 2020. You're in a good position. You've got your, you know, You've had consistent money. You've managed to bat off the debt that was hanging over your head like a dark cloud. Yeah. And where are you at this point? Are you living at home? Where are you?
So we were renting, me and Ricky. So we'd actually done a short stint of living in Belfast, and then we came back to where we got sort of near where we live now. We were just renting like a really like modest little house. Like, we were really happy there, but we still were not able to get a mortgage. I was still not able to get a mortgage, and I think we were in a position where we were like, we probably want to move somewhere a little bit bigger, have a bit more space, but we just couldn't. Like, so I just was on financially a real saving like spree. Like, I knew that if I wanted to get a mortgage, I was going to have to put down a big deposit. Ricky as well. So we were both working really, really hard. Obviously, COVID hit and Ricky's career changed dramatically because his career at the time, well, he was a DJ, so that stopped. And then his career at the time was, you know, going to events and speaking at public events. He couldn't do that anymore.
It was so hard for those industries.
It was so hard, yeah.
Impactful.
So, but luckily, I could work from home and started doing content creation. So I started just taking mirror selfies. I didn't honestly, when I look back, I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, I see some OG influencers doing it, you know, like, when I think of some names, like Lorna being one of them, to be honest, like I see her doing it.
Naomi Jeans.
She comes to mind. Like some real like OG influencers that I looked up to at the time. And I was like, they seem to be doing something that they really enjoy. Yeah. And it was seeing like Lorna in particular doing like her in the style collections. Like, I was a big lover of the brand and I saw her doing all of that, and I kind of was piecing it all together, and I thought, okay, well, take a mirror pic, put it on Instagram. And the real sort of turning point moment event for me was a giveaway, which is so random.
Right.
But I hit 40,000 followers.
Wow. And how far into your journey is this?
Oh, that was quite quick, like really quite quick, maybe like 6 months, which I thought was quite reasonable. I mean, I
incredible.
did have I had some followers already, but I hit 40,000 followers. This was December 2020,
right.
I want to say. It was right before COVID like was going to be really like shut down everywhere. And I said, oh, when I hit 40,000 followers, I'm going to do a Dyson Airwrap giveaway because I just bought a Dyson Airwrap and I loved it. And I was like, okay, well, this seems like a good idea. And I don't know what happened, but it just went absolutely viral, like so viral. It had like 500,000 comments, which for me at the time was like, I was like, what on earth is going on in the House of Commons? Like, what is actually going on? And it was being shared by like loads of people. And I went from 40,000 to 120,000 followers in like 2 weeks.
Gosh.
And I was like, hold on a minute. My whole life has potentially just changed in the blink of an eye.
Wow.
And it was like between Christmas and New Year. And I remember going on a dog walk with my sister and her partner. And I was looking at my phone. I was like, what is going on?
Notifications off.
Literally, what is going on? And then I kind of remember just having a really like honest and frank conversation to myself and being like, I feel I'm very much in tune with the universe and everything like that. I was like, I feel that the universe is now putting something in my palm and saying to you, you've done your little, career stint. You've been through those ups and downs. You love fashion. You actually love building a community, which I do. You're a very social person. Go for it. And we're giving you a little head start, off you go. And from that moment, I rented a studio near where I lived because my house, I couldn't create content in my house really. Like we lived in a very modest home. Like I didn't have a lot of room to do videos or anything. So I rented a studio and I just said, I'm going to be the most consistent person there is. And that was it, basically.
I'm always fascinated because I am so in awe of influencers.
Yeah.
Because because that isn't my background at all. I think now everyone's expected to have a social media presence.
Yeah.
But I think one thing I always take my hat off to influencers, I'm like, people do not realise for a second how kind of hard it is to get a certain aesthetic across or a message whilst creating content. Like it is so, people think, they post a bit on Instagram and that's what they do. It's not a real job. There's that kind of weird stigma and mentality around it. And I really think that is I'll say haters gonna hate because I'm like, it's a dream job to so many and it feels like it's, people get invited on gorgeous trips and there are so many incredible ups with it. But actually it is a real job because it's a really hard thing to engage a community. It's a hard thing to engage a customer. It's a hard thing for a brand to trust you and that to convert in the right way. So I'm always in awe and I'm always kind of interested in like the approach and what an influencer's niche is and how it looks because I think because it's such a kind of new job offering, people have a stigma because they're like, well, it's something you do on the phone and it has to be somewhat of a side hustle, right? So I think, like I said, I'm always in awe of influencers in that sense because I know how hard it is. You don't just take a picture and it works. It's a lot more difficult than that.
Yeah, I think for me, like I am very aware of how blessed I am, like, and I am so grateful. Like my gratitude is so high and I definitely have numerous times a day, is this really my life? And I think it's not because of money, house, material, it's because I'm doing what I love.
It's the enjoyment.
And I'm getting paid to do that. And there are people out there, this is not a hard job in comparison to 99% of the jobs. And there is not one single part of me that ever takes it for granted. I work hard in my own lane. I don't say I work harder than anybody else.
No. Listen, none of us are in the lines. Yeah. Like, we're realistic.
100%.
But what my point is the stigma around it, I think, is wrong. And I think that happens when something is relatively new. Yeah. Like, and, you argue new now, but it's a new idea. And what's incredible is it's created so many new opportunities for millions and millions of people.
People just don't realise that it's a serious business. People are making serious, like, careers out of it. And also, you do, I, for years and years and years, worked without earning much at all. Yes. Like, I worked just by getting gifted from brands. I didn't understand. I didn't have a manager. I didn't understand how things worked. I would bend over backwards for anybody that would even look in my direction. I know a lot of other influencers have been through the same journey. And it truly is, if you want that sort of level where you're working with brands like that you could only dream of, the only way to get there is by being so consistent. And consistency takes hard work and discipline. Like if you want to, I don't know, tone up and lose weight at the gym, you can't go once and expect to have a six-pack. I mean, I wish I could, but it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I've tried it. It just seems to not work. But you have to show up when you don't want to. And I definitely have days where I'm like, I'm not feeling myself today and I'm not getting my creative spark. But you know that consistency is what pays off.
So you rent this studio, and I suppose that gives you a real purpose to stay consistent too, because you're renting a space, you know, and you're financially committing to do so. So you've got to make the most out of it. What does consistency, or what did it look like then? Like, how consistent did you have to be in those early years?
Massively. I feel like when I started doing this was when Reels became a thing on Instagram. Like, because like back in the day, Reels weren't a thing. It was just pictures, like, you know, that was it. So like Reels and mirror pics became a big thing, and it was like I knew to cut through the noise, I just needed to be the one that constantly showed up. So that's what I did. So I was posting 4 or 5, sometimes 6 times a week, fresh content every single day. So I kind of made it my entire personality. So whether that would be going to Zara, looking at what's new in, grabbing it, filming it, whether that would be putting an outfit together, styling an outfit, whether that would be showing people what they could wear on their best friend's hen do, you know, whether it was what are you wearing to bottomless brunch, I kind of have changed my content over time. But my content in the early days was definitely based on like occasion wear shopping. Like, I'm going to give you styling options for every occasion under the sun, and I'm going to go to the Zara sale and show you what I got as well. But also building my community. I made my community my priority. I would spend hours replying to DMs. I still reply to my DMs now. I find it so important. I really have built a loyal, fierce community, and that came through just years and years and years of being there and like not allowing myself to get caught up in, oh, I've got followers now, so I can do this and I can do that.
You're nurturing that.
Yeah, I wanted to. And I remember I messaged somebody once, an influencer, and they didn't message me back, and it made me feel some sort of way. I felt like a bit of a weirdo. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I felt like, oh, did I just put myself out there to get burned? Like that sort of vibe. Yeah. And it now makes me think sometimes it's just an emoji. Like, I'm not going to be able to write you a 3-page essay every single reply. But I have some people sometimes that message and say, oh, Perrie, like, what do you think of this blazer? Like, if I wore that to a wedding, what would you wear with this? It takes me 2 seconds to be like, just wear those shoes. Or like, do you know what? I would do this instead. And that makes such a difference because then when I make big moves, they're right there with me, and that's really important to me.
And they believe in you. Yeah. It's so interesting that you're saying that you kind of built it based around like occasion wear and because it really, that's full circle,
the clothes thing,
isn't it?
Yeah. And what was one of the I've had many of these. One of them was that I ended up working with Coast before they're not a thing anymore. I worked with them quite a few times on ads, and I was like saying to my manager, like, this is so bizarre to me. Like I used to, they would pay me to do ads with them.
I love that.
Absolutely bizarre.
So you're in the space where you're kind of building this. You're doing these hauls. You're doing and your content is very recognizable to be you. Yeah. So and I see that. I can picture where you're stood. I can picture what's behind you. So we're really kind of familiar with how your content looks. And then at what point do you get that you're doing these giveaways, you're tripling your following, the engagement is kind of off the scale. At what point does it become a real kind of financial stream for you in terms of brands approaching you?
When I started working within the style was probably one of the biggest turning points. So I bought from In The Style organically, and then they reached out to me. This was like 3 months after that giveaway blew up. So I was on like 120,000 followers. In The Style back then were working with people like Lorna, people like Naomi, people like Stacey Solomon, Jack Jossup. I'm talking household names. Like household names. Like Lorna and Naomi, I would say, were actually a little bit, even for them, more of the you had like the influencers and then the
more
celebs.
Mainstream celebs.
Exactly, your household names. And they approached me about gifting. Obviously, I was like, oh my God, yes, gift me, I want everything. And I just did content for them for free, and it performed really, really well. And then we started talking about paid stuff, and then actually they just jumped the gun and they were like, you perform really well for us. You know, you wear the clothes organically, which I did. We want you to do an edit. And this was like 6 months after the Dyson thing. And I mean, I still remember the feeling of how I felt in that moment. I was like, an edit with a brand? Wow. I'm going to have to take photos and like my face is going to be on a website. It was not lost on me. I was losing my mind. Ricky that's here, he'll remember I sobbed. I was like, this is the best things I've happened in my life. Like,
well, it is, right?
I finally felt like I was just like, wow, like people are getting me for me. Like you're understanding me, like as a person. I felt so accepted. So I was like, yes. And that did really well. Now,
did you have a management at this point?
This is when Hannah, my manager, got put into the mix. Finally, I was like, I need a manager.
I was going to ask you, did you know how to sort of carve out a deal in that way?
No, like she came into it literally just as we were signing that deal.
Right, so she could help guide you and
thank goodness.
I suppose because it's really hard to. I mean, it's hard.
I wouldn't have had
anything to sort of know your value and know your worth. Like, I suppose you can monitor it in like Instagram stats and social media.
I would have done it for free.
But but how do you like know how to monetize that?
That is like a whole thing. And I think there's a bit of a gap there as well in the industry. Like management is so important and key in those situations. And for me, I genuinely had no clue. Reached out to a few people for help, didn't get any answers. I actually reached out. Right now when I think about it, if an influencer reached out to me and said, like, what do you charge for a brand post? I'm not going to disclose that.
Yeah, it's
I
quite
probably
exposing,
would be quite helpful. I can say, oh, you know, like I can't give you that, but I can give you X, Y, Z. Yeah. And I remember reaching out. I probably should go back and unsend those messages. Reaching out to a few influencers being like, hi, I'm starting to like, what do you charge for a post? But I just genuinely had no navigation. And how I actually got introduced to my manager, it's such a small world. I was introduced to my manager through my best friend, my best friend Harry, who now produces my podcast. And he rang me one day and he said, I think that you probably need to look at getting a manager. I can see that things are, you know, you're getting people approach you, whatever. And I was very anti-management. I was like, I don't want anyone to tell me that I have to do an ad for a brand that I don't want to do it for. And I'd been exposed really interestingly. I went to an influencer event on my own back when I didn't have a manager. And I was exposed to a conversation which was quite toxic, where I heard people talking about how bad all of their management was and how they were all going on their own. And I heard that and I was like, I'm not getting a manager. I'm doing it on my own. Thank goodness that really changed quickly. So yeah, my best friend Harry introduced me to Hannah, and because it was like a personal introduction,
you felt safe.
I felt really comfortable, and it was great news from on then. She's still here somewhere. But I thank goodness she came in when she did. So she got the first deal over the line. That edit did incredibly well, better than they thought. We then did a second one, and then it was like, no, like we see where this is going. I was still growing on Instagram really fast at the time, and that's when I went in to do my full In the Style collections, and I did those for almost 4 years. And for me, I think that's where, because I was able to back up with facts, I was able to say, I sold £1 million of clothes in 20 minutes. Like, I can do this. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like before then, I do think it's hard to get taken seriously in the industry. I do think that the influencer culture is very much like, you know, it can be a bit like smoke and mirrors.
And why do you think that is? Is because it's kind of it's also an easy title to throw out there, isn't there? And for me, there's a real difference between a content creator and an influencer. Like, are you influencing me to buy it? Am I like, am I influenced the trip you just went on? Do I now want to book it? And somebody that takes pretty pictures, right?
I think that I am more of an influencer.
100%.
I create content, but it's not content that's like, yeah, it can sometimes, but I know that people buy from what I recommend. But that has, again, you have to be committed to nurturing that for people to really trust that they want to use their hard-earned money on something that you recommend. And I think that's something that I really sits quite heavy within me, because I used to waste my own hard-earned money on crap, and I got myself in a bad situation. So I think I always have that in the back of my mind. Like, think about, you know, and this is why I'm so careful and considerate with brands that I work with. And my number one rule of thumb has always been, if I haven't been a customer of that brand before, I'm not going to work with them. And I've never worked with a brand that I've not been a customer of, because I'm like, I can't connect. I nearly did once. I won't say the brand, and it blew up in my face. It was a really bad decision. I ended up coming out of it because I was like, it's not clicking, and it's not clicking because I've broke my little rule. Yeah.
Do you know what? I have the exactly same rule as you. I do it in such a different way. I picture myself in an interview.
Yeah.
So like, I host this morning, right?
Yeah.
So if I was on the sofa in the other seat and someone was saying, so tell me like why you love this brand. If it feels like I'm
you can't
not
say,
being genuine or this isn't right, then I'm not working. Because I've done it before previously, and many moons ago when I felt like I was fronting something that I was like, oh God, because the paycheck was fucking great.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of us have been in that position where it's happened before, but I really quickly realised that I didn't want to post any of it. I didn't want to show up it. And I'm like, oh God, this is awful.
And I think it's transparent. I think people see through it. It's like, are you really doing that?
Absolutely. And listen, that comes with privilege and success, that you can say no to things.
Absolutely.
You only say yes to things that you're extremely passionate about. So we also should recognise that. There was a day
100%.
that, there was a time that we were both, I'm sure, going, this is great, the money's good, I'll do it.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And who wouldn't? But I think it's almost growing as a person and really knowing that we have a responsibility when, particularly in your vein, when you're influencing people to, as you say, spend their money on something.
I just think you have to work hard to get that choice. I think that's a really important point. Like, you are going to have to go through the times to get to that point where you can cherry pick.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important, you can always remain true to yourself in some way. You've just got to learn to pivot. And, if that means saying no to sometimes big money things because of that, do it, because you want to stay true to yourself and your audience will know.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't even think of a brand, but I just know my community see through me so much.
Like,
I don't know. Like, if I did, I can't even think of one, but I just know they'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, super niche and so unrelated to you.
Literally, like, what are you, that's just not you. Like, you don't. I know you don't use that, or I know you wouldn't wear that, or something like that. So yeah,
there are lots of brands that you've worked for that you adore, and knowing, I suppose you can really sort of measure the success of how you do for those brands, particularly in that social vein. You can really see what's cutting through and what isn't, and the sales and the click-throughs and how that converts. Has there always sort of been that itch that you want to scratch when it comes to building something
for myself?
For yourself?
Yeah, I've always had it in the back of my mind. I'm like, that's another phase of my life. And I'm not going to lie, I've always put it to the back. And again, imposter syndrome, something that I really seem to struggle with, and I just can't. I look at myself and I'm like, if I'm looking in the mirror and I think, why are you so struggling with this imposter syndrome? It stopped me from going to events. It stopped me doing red carpets. Like, I've had amazing opportunities. I've never been on a brand trip abroad. I've never done anything like that. I've never been on a brand trip because I just really feel this imposter syndrome, and it's something I'm trying to break through.
And what is it you feel?
Just fear of people misunderstanding me, which I think comes back connected to my childhood and like how I felt during my teenage years. Fear of just not feeling like I fit in, and also just fear of like, I don't even know, not being on my own, but just a fear of feeling like I'm not gelling, like, and I'm just like, am I enjoying this?
You should so make this your thing for 2026, like break the seal of it.
Yeah.
Because if you think about those environments, the probable fact is that you'll be with like-minded people
and also
that understand what you do, or that have maybe had a similar path.
Yeah, it's just not like me as a person. I don't know where it's come from, but I think it's because I do see the beginning of my journey, not accidental, because it was meant to happen. Everything happens for a reason, but it was a bit of like a weird jolty start to the industry. So it feels like I've had to really learn as I go along, and I'm like a bit of a hamster on a wheel, and I'm like,
but then you don't know that anyone else's isn't like, because you're very transparent, and I think that's something people don't necessarily share so openly online, but you do, which is brilliant. So your community know you. But say there are people on that trip that have had a really similar start, but they just don't really mention it. You might really love it. You might find like a crew of people that you're like, I think
it's more so as well. It's just that whole not good enough thing, which I hate. And I have committed to a brand trip this year.
There you go, girl.
So I am going to be going.
There you go.
But it's just taken me time. And this is where having my own brand came into it as well. So it's always been one of those things was like, I have to do this. Like, I'm so passionate about fashion. I'm also passionate about people and giving solution-based things. And I'm just so passionate about all of that. It would be so silly for me to not use my experience and my passion to do that and invest in something which could be great in the future. But it's always been that can I find the time? Am I going to be able to commit? Am I going to have to make sacrifices? Like, I'm the sort of person where I don't want to say no to anything. I want all of the opportunities, and I don't want to have to give up anything for something else. So I think it was just the case of I got presented with the chance to do it, and I was like, push that button. It felt like a push of a button, like it's go time.
I can only imagine going from influencer to founder. It's obviously you've got so many learnings of what you've sort of been a sponge around, but it being your own is a completely different ball game, isn't it?
I've never experienced stress like it, like stress to the point of like losing hair, losing weight, because my problem is I take everything on so emotionally. I am a heart on my sleeve person. Like the tears, I even have to fight back talking now just numerous times because I'm so sensitive. I'm sensitive to everything. So because of that, I feel everything on a different level. I can't just switch off. I can't just be like, if a customer was to message me, because I have that relationship with my audience, they will message me and say something's happened with their order or whatever. Like I will not be able to let that go. I'm like, right, get that sorted now. Like I'm that sort of like people pleaser person. So for me, it's been learning business is transactional. You don't need to be so emotional about it all the time and just kind of separating those two people.
It's really hard. And do you know what? This is, you know, a space for female founders. And it's one thing that we all have in common is it's so tough to separate emotion from business. And I think it's something that it does take a minute. But but I think that's the nature of us as humans. Exactly that, because we can lead with emotion too, which can be really powerful. But actually having it, when something goes wrong, it's where it's really tough to sort of remember that it is business. But one thing that I've really learned, and one thing that I have a life coach who is incredible and that she really tells me, is actually that if something doesn't work out or something isn't happening in the way that you'd hope, it is that thing that's not happening, not you.
Yes.
And that's what it's really important to separate. Like, do you know what? That launch really wasn't successful, but that was that launch. But here we go, and I'm going to develop the next one. So like, it's really, because you do really like, it starts to, you know, if things don't work out when it's your baby, you wear that, don't you? And it kind of weighs on you a little bit. So I think it's an important thing to try and separate it where you can.
I'm definitely getting better, and I'm having a bit of a, you know, have some boundaries. But it's just you want it to do so well. You're so hungry, and also because for me, I feel like it's a lot at stake because it is my life. Fashion is my life, and I work with other brands too. And why is Reason so different, and why should people shop Reason? And if it doesn't go right, I just take that so personally.
And it's a risk when you're already doing incredibly well in your field and you've got these great relationships with these brands. You know, carving out something of your own is a risk because actually it's already going well.
That's probably the biggest thing. It's like, why, if it's going so well, you're working with dream brands, you know, like Primark, for example, like you're getting to do, and for me, it's just like nothing can beat the feeling of it being your own. And also it's the 100% control. Like I have 100% control, and I sort of feel like in the style, like got me, because they gave me a lot of control. Like I could pick whatever, I created the clothing from scratch basically with them. They just facilitated it. And it's like that learning then has led me to where I am now. But having that 100% control and being like, your decisions impact this so greatly is something that you can't get anywhere else.
No. And it's a beautiful thing. You develop your brand guidelines and how that looks, and they're yours to protect. So talk to me about the first kind of step and how you decided what the first drop was going to be and how that was going to look, and the partnership that you have.
So my co-founder Adam obviously was the owner of In The Style, and he had huge success and came away from it really successful, and we started working on it. So where are we now? God, I'm losing track of time. That's what I am. Probably almost 2 years ago. So number one, the hardest thing is getting a name. It's like, wow, I never wish to experience this again. It's the most difficult thing in the world. Like, if you're starting a business, just start thinking of the name 10 years before you want to start the business, and then check your trademarks.
And everyone's got an opinion too.
And don't tell anyone, especially no one that doesn't get the vibe.
It's like naming a baby. Like, never say it, because people go, oh, really?
They are going to they're going to piss on your chips. So just be prepared for that. Like, don't tell your family members, they're not going to get the vibe. So just don't bother.
Then you've got to try and own it.
And then you've got to try and get the Instagram and stuff. It's a lot, guys. So just be prepared for that. But that was sort of the first stages. We always knew we were going to be a bit of a solution-based brand in terms of fashion. We always knew athleisure, you know, your comfies, your leggings, your trackies is where we wanted to start. We're not saying that's the be-all and end-all of Reason, but we always knew that's where we wanted to be placed in the beginning. And our biggest kind of benefit is that we do sizes 6 to 28 tall and petite offering from day one.
Incredible.
Bearing in mind some brands come out with 3 sizes in their first. So that was always our thing. What that meant for us as a business is our investment was so high. So when I say the risk that we entailed, it was over £500,000 risk, because we had to buy the stock, we have to meet suppliers' minimums, like to be able to offer these incredible size ranges.
And you know, for listeners listening to this now, that of course, if you launch something initially with a retailer, they would sort of forecast a lot of that stock for you, and they're kind of committing to orders which would make your purchase order a lot safer because you know that stock is guaranteed. But when you're, you know, looking at a £500,000 investment that you're sat on and you're hoping by the grace of God that this is going to move. It's a scary position to be in.
And also it was the predicting, because we were planning this a year, like they started doing the actual clothing design and everything a year before.
Right.
So you're predicting like what are people going to want? Are they going to want colour or do they want black? You know, are they going to want premium knitwear? Like even putting yourself in the pricing arc of the market is really difficult, because you've got people that can sell tracksuits at £150 to £200, and then people that sell it at 60 quid. It's like, where do you put yourself? And one thing about me and Adam is, I think where we really champion is we know our customer so well, and we have different customers. We have names for them. We know them. We regularly talk about them. We refer to them as their names. We know who they are. We know their age. We know where they live. We know what they do. We know everything, because if we know our customer so well, we'll just hit it with the product like so right. And that's really what we did. So we knew athleisure. We knew like knitted cords, but using, you know, trying to be more sustainable, recycled fabrics we've done a lot of. We're continuing to really diversify our fabric library. We're bringing in 100% cotton sets this year, and also really working hard on our pricing. It's something that's so important to us. We don't want to be unattainable, but we also aren't fast fashion.
Yes.
So we're sitting in the middle. You know, you can get a gorgeous 70% cotton tracksuit for £100, which feels like a nice place to be, and you're getting great quality. It washes well, it lasts. It's not a one and done sort of outfit. So the whole of 2025 was gearing towards like the moment of the launch. We always knew we wanted to be a September launch. We never launched in September. We always knew we wanted to be no, it never does. We always knew we wanted to be September, because if I feel like if you're launching a fashion brand, that is single-handedly the best time of year to launch it. Unless you're a swimwear brand, don't launch it in September. So we always knew September was the month, because that's when I feel like people are open to investing in new pieces to put in their autumn wardrobe. And we were given a sort of 360 capsule drop. You some outerwear, some knits, some trackies, some like basics in there, in great size ranges, great quality, good pricing. That was our thing. We're not trying to change the world. But one thing about Reason is our kind of ethos is, whenever we're in a sign-off meeting and we're looking at things, I'm always asking, so what is the reason, pardon the pun, that she is buying that over going XYZ? And we have to have a reason. Even if it's just that it's 100% cotton, that is a reason. Even if it comes in at this price point, but a lot of the time it's functionality. Is it reversible? Can you wear it 2 ways? Like, is it waterproof? Like, what are the reasons that she is going to buy this from us versus all of the other brands? Because it's a noisy space. It's a noisy space.
Yes,
so
and it has to be
you have
considered.
to cut through.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Was there sort of on the road to launch a sort of time that you were like, do you know what, this is just...
Numerous.
Okay.
I quit 65 times a day. I specifically in the September, so the September came around and it's all of a sudden, you're almost waiting. It's like, oh, everything's sort of done. So obviously we'd booked the clothes. All the clothes were done ages ago because we were booking them on far in advance. That's how it worked. Everything was done apart from it's when the marketing starts picking up at that point, the shoots, you know, the Instagram and all that. And at that point, I was having a really difficult time personally. Like, I had not really had any personal issues for a long time, like touch wood, and then all of a sudden something happened in my family and it really knocked me for six. So I was dealing with launching a business while I was dealing with some issues that I didn't really think I was going to be dealing with, and I found myself in a place, and also balancing all my current work commitments, you know, through my management, my brand deals, etc., like working on the big Primark deal. Like there was so much happening, and also still trying to continuously be better every day. I was like, I'm drowning. And there was this one specific moment where I actually was so broken because we'd set up the Instagram for Reason, and we'd managed to get the Reason Instagram handle just at Reason, which I'm sure you know, just getting your clean Instagram handle is pretty much impossible. So we got it and everything was fine. And I wanted to get the blue tick on it, right? So you can just do it through Meta, but I did the wrong one. So I did it, instead of a business, I did it for a personal. So the Instagram changed to Adam's name. So it said Adam Frisby. The profile picture was of Adam, and we couldn't change it for a month. That's what they said to us. We were 5 days away from launch at this point. We were just about to announce the Instagram, like go and follow the Instagram. Luckily, someone at Meta, thank you. I think so many people messaged Meta for me that eventually they got annoyed with me, and they reached out to me and they were like, "Can you? We're going to help you, but please, can you stop us?
Can you please never ever contact me?"
Literally.
Again.
So thank you to that Meta contact who sorted it. But just in that moment, it sounds so trivial.
But it's like you're drowning, isn't it? When everything's on top.
And also, I'm learning. I've not done this before. Like Adam has built a brand before. He is so polished when it comes to dealing with issues. Whereas every issue to me at the time felt like a car crash, and I was like, how do I get through these? Every day something's happening. Is it stock that's delayed? Is it this person? Is it that person? But now it's so much better, and I'm really grateful for the time then. But wow, it was a lot.
And it's just never like linear, is it? Like it really does. But it's hard to get your head around, particularly when you've been on the kind of shiny side of it all.
That's the key.
That's what it is, right? You don't realise the back end is really back end.
It is, the back end is in the back. Like that's what I will say. What you're not is in the front ever. Yeah. And I feel like I've learned so much, which I'm so grateful for, and I'm still learning, and I don't think I ever will stop learning. But it is not shiny, it's not magnificent, it is difficult. Like, and it's difficult when you do. I am still so in my influencer career. Like, I'm still growing. I've still got big goals, big dreams. I'm going to do other things now, maybe a bit of TV, a bit of radio. Like, let's see what's out there for me. But I'm still building a brand that I've got big vision for. Like, I'm not just somebody that has one thing. You know, some founders are just building their brand. I'm doing 65 other things as well, and trying to survive and probably maybe have a child one day. If that will work, I won't know. Also trying to maintain a relationship, poor Ricky. Like, you know, there's numerous things I'm trying to do, and be a great family member and try and be there for everybody. But I do think it was, the stress levels were extremely high, like to the point where it did affect my health. I've never experienced that before, where I was like, oh, I actually don't feel like myself because I'm so stressed. Now I've learned to manage my stress a little bit better, and you have to. And
what do you do to switch off when days like that, when you're like, okay, this delivery is stuck on a ship somewhere, and you know we have a deadline to hit, and this has happened, and everything else is in between?
Actually, airplane mode on my phone is a great one. I know that sounds a bit drastic, but I've started implementing this thing when I'm filming at home for like just my reels. I'm like, guys, I'm going on airplane mode now, and I'm going to give myself that space, because for me, my filming is actually what I enjoy more than anything, and I will never stop just creating my Zara reels, my H&Ms. Like, that's my safe space. It makes me so happy, and for me it's like I'm just going to give myself, I'm going to be a bit stricter on my boundaries. Like, I'm going to give myself a bit of time. We also have a great team of people that are super experienced in the industry. Like, they know that they can deal with these issues. It doesn't always need to sit on my lap, and always just know that I can let those people deal with it. I don't have to be in those crisis situations every single time. And I think now we are a few months old, we've got a much nicer filtered system. Also, going on holiday is great, but you can't be doing that every time you're stressed. But we just had a gorgeous break, and it was so important.
Nice, that kind of like being committed enough to go, right, aeroplane mode, I need a little bit of headspace.
Otherwise, I'm no good to anybody. But I'm sure, I'll be sure, and I hate it because that's not me, but I can feel myself slipping a little bit, and I'm like, no, don't do that.
I'm not going to spiral.
Just give yourself a bit of breathing space, and just like nothing is going to drastically change in the next hour. I'm not going in airplane mode for a day. That'd be impossible. But even just an hour, just to be like, I need to just gather my thoughts, and then I'm going to send you 65 voice notes afterwards when I'm done.
And then that'll great She's about to come off airplane
now all
mode.
hell's broke loose.
I want to talk about the launch day for Reason, because
yes.
obviously, like you say, as these things are looming, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a bit of a pressure cooker.
Yeah, it was,
But I have just got some of your stats here. I mean, it's a brand in its infancy, so this is just incredible.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing success. You made £1 million in revenue in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was actually 20 minutes,
I mean...
Yeah, it was insane. It was... I have never experienced something like it in my life. I thought I had for my In The Style career. There was a moment within The Style where we used to do something called the Dubai collection. It was like, I used to love going on holiday to Dubai, and I'd always share my outfits. And then someone actually suggested, one of my followers said, why don't you do a Dubai collection within The Style? Because I was already doing collections with them and we would theme them.
Right.
And I was like, guys, that is just such a banging idea. So we created the Dubai collection.
And that might mean I get to go to Dubai.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to go to Dubai and do this. And it sort of became like a bit of a thing in my community. It's like March, April, the Dubai collections come in. Don't buy any holiday outfits. I've got you covered. And there was one moment where the collection went live. Adam and Jamie had flew over. It was a big thing. And we sold 19,000 units in 20 minutes. But at this time I had 300,000 followers. And then we did this video, and this video went really viral where Adam told me what we'd sold, and I actually pushed him over because I was like, I don't believe you, but it was quite a big push, and he literally stumbled. I was like, sorry about that.
Shocked.
I'm so shocked. And in that moment, I was like, someone like me, coming from where I'm from and having the family complexities and all of that I've got, could do something like this. Mm-hmm. I felt like, wow, that was one of those moments. And this was another one of those moments with Reason.
You manifested.
Yeah,
that.
I just felt like, wow, I've not been on TV. I've not been on a celebrity platform in some way. I'm actually just a very normal person with extremely normal, if not abnormal upbringing, and wow, people trust. It's that feeling of acceptance again. I really crave it. You trust me that much to give me, and that feeling of elation. So with Reason, the same thing. We prepared for a big launch. I'm not going to lie. One thing about which is so unique about me and Adam is it's not like I've partnered with someone that's just an investor. He is an influencer. Adam's community would rival mine. We have a mixed community really, but he has got such a strong community. So it's two really powerful communities colliding together.
Of you both. It really is.
It's not just he's invested in my business and he's doing the back end. He does the back end and he does the front end. He does all of the finance stuff and he can sell 10,000 leggings. That's kind of he's both. So we knew that we wanted to play it big, and we had to, because we wanted to give that size offering and we wanted to give a decent collection. We didn't want to just drop 3 things. What a waste. We wanted to say, look, here's your one-stop shop to your autumn winter wardrobe. But I think we were watching the numbers. We had an early access thing. We were watching the numbers on Shopify of the sessions, and it was 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and then next one was 100,000. I'm like, what is going on? And we had a room full of people because the next day we planned to go to Ibiza to celebrate, well, hopefully celebrate. And Adam had his Shopify phone on, and the notifications, it was ding, 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 and then within 20 minutes, everything was gone. Everything was gone. But then, which is amazing, incredible.
Well, I was going to ask you, is it does it feel validating, or does it also feel intimidating because you're okay, now we have to go again?
Intimidating.
Really?
Validating because it's I never have to do that run up to launching a business again. I found the run up to the launch harder than launch. I really, truly did. The run up to the the perfection side of me wanting to get everything right, and also the pressure of there's £500,000 of our money in this. This needs to perform to some degree. It has and also in fashion, being stuck with stock, because ultimately, yes, we did that launch, but we had 3 more launches planned before the end of the year after that. So we're planned we're planned every single month.
Yeah, so if that doesn't shift,
we're now stuck with
you're
more.
Still committed with
exactly.
More to come.
And you've got to cut, and also cutting through the noise. Black Friday, Christmas, in fashion, everyone's on sale. Everyone's
so
doing this.
Incredible.
So it was great. And the initial reaction was we went to Ibiza at the best time. It was incredible. Then when we got back, all hell broke loose. I've not really spoken about this, but we were in a warehouse, and there was a few issues where we were like, okay, this seems a little bit weird, but essentially the warehouse overpromised, under-delivered, and we just couldn't get the orders out. Where people had gone 2 weeks, there was no order, and it was a really, really difficult time. Like we had to move warehouse, so we had to close the website for 3 weeks, stop trading for 3 weeks, and move the entire warehouse from A to B to be able to get ourselves back up and running before Black Friday, before peak season. And I remember thinking, how have me and Adam, that have got so much experience between us, and we've got a power team of people, managed to get ourselves in this position? And then you get that drop again of emotion, that drop of like, oh my God, this is how. And also, as someone that's so in touch with their customers and their community, I don't want to offer anything other than the best. And I'm now, potentially, not offering what I want to offer. And it was that whole, how do we pull ourselves back around from this? But we did. We moved within a week, and now everything is totally fine.
Wow.
But the scale,
I can't imagine moving warehouse in a week.
Yeah, so I
just can't.
Oh, and then we moved again, but to the same company. But they moved us because they were like, we can't intake all the stock. We were very ambitious with the stock we were buying, tens of thousands of units, and they were like, we actually haven't got the capacity either, so we had to move again. And at this point we're like, is this a joke? Can anyone help us? But we managed to get it sorted. But we just actually closed off. We had like a meeting yesterday before I came here. So from October to December, bearing in mind 3 of those weeks we weren't trading, we've done 3.5 million in sales. It's just insane.
Perrie,
I know.
that is insane.
When they told me that yesterday, I had a bit of a clue, but I was like, seeing it on paper, I was like, wow, how did we do that?
Those kind of numbers are what kind of these big corporate monster juggernaut brands that, they excite them.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've not, I know that you kind of seek that outside, you've been very open that you really seek that outside validation and approval. I mean, that must give you a little bit of that.
It does, and it's
like it's connecting. What you're doing is working.
It's working. Yeah, it's definitely working, and it also gives me that absolute drive.
It's overperforming is what we would say.
I'm like a sort of person where I get to the top of the mountain and I'm like, where's the moon?
Yes.
Like, I am never ever satisfied with being at the top of the mountain, and that is a positive and a negative. Positive because I'm ambitious, negative because I'm never seem to be that 100% satisfied. Adam is the same. So together we're like difficult.
I mean, in business perspective,
it's great.
It's brilliant because you're always striving for the next thing. But do you ever take those moments to kind of sort of soak it up a little bit, even just like for yourself?
Yeah, I feel like that's what I did truly when I went on holiday, like recently. We went away for almost 3 weeks. I've never in my life felt so needed just to get away from everybody. Like my social battery was like minus 555. I was like, I'm done. And there was just moments with me and Ricky who I was like, I can't believe we're doing this. Like, I can't believe this is happening with Reason and we're turning over these numbers. Like, we did a launch when I was away and I was, in a hot country, and we launched an active wear drop. I mean, I'm not wearing a 3-piece active suit in the Maldives, like for walking around. Do you know what I mean?
I could. You might pass out.
Yeah, exactly. It was very clammy. And that collection did so. That was on the 8th of January. What a difficult time to be launching anything. It did incredible. And I'm like, that was even without me facing it. And I'm like, now people are getting it. Already people are getting it. And our biggest thing was within the style, very much a collection-based brand. So we're going from collection to collection, which is amazing. So you get those huge peaks, but then you get those big lows.
Yes.
It's like we need that day-to-day shopping, and that comes from brand awareness and new customer acquisition. Like, we need people to know what Reason is, and that's now happening.
And I suppose for it to like live alone too.
Yeah, without me.
Exactly that. Like, that you've like you know that Perrie's cut through, but to know that Reason has its own brand identity, and it can perform with. So and even for you to live a fulfilled life, that you can take time out, and you've got an incredible team to be able to, man the ship.
Yeah.
But actually, Reason is a brand that lives by itself. I think that's when you know that you've really created a successful business.
That's always been a worry as well. Like, that's what I need to happen. Adam's the same. He's done it before. He committed 10 years of his life to In the Style, and even though he came away from it so successful, the personal stress that it came with was paramount. So I don't want to go through similar things. So I think we both went into it with such a clear goal of what we want. We put in the right practices. Yes, it was clunky along the way, but now we're seeing the fruits of our labour.
And what's next for you? Because this is thriving, and this feels like you've really found your, like, it sounds like it's
found my pace.
Yeah, it's clicked for you. It really has.
Yeah.
So what, I know that, you know, reason isn't the only thing you do, as much as it's booming.
Yeah.
What kind of, if we were to look ahead and we like spoke in like a couple of years' time, what would you say that you want to see come your way in the next couple of years?
So I think what's really important, number one, is just continue my organic content, because that is so important to me. I want to continue growing on Instagram. You know, I've grown from nothing to 2.1 million followers. That's myself. Just hit 1 million on TikTok. Want to continue doing that. Continue doing all the fun stuff that isn't paid, but it's what I enjoy. That's like my cup being full. I would like to sit in 5 years and say that I potentially am a mum. I think it's important to say. I don't know whether I will be. I'm still very much 50-50. I don't know. If I hope I am, and I hope that I give myself enough of a push to be like, stop it now, just go and do it. Do you know what I mean? But career-wise, reason to be in a humongous position. You know, I would love to see us in some retailers, you know, maybe Selfridges, something like that, also some wholesalers. I would love to see that we have progressed into other areas, not just athleisure, like maybe we do some swimwear, something like that. Like, when nothing is off the table with reason, it's just that we wanted to start where we knew we could really thrive. And I want it to be a household name, like Adenola. Like, I want people to wear it in the street. I want to walk past them and be like, wow, that's my brand. That's really special. I also want to continue working with big household names, Primark being such a big one for me.
Well, that's really full circle for you,
Oh,
because
my God.
if you think about that, you know, moving it away from reason for a second and talking about the success that you've had with Primark, you started doing the hauls and, you know, buying bits and documenting them. That was probably way back in the 2020 era. Yeah. So to have the kind of relationship that you have and the partnership that you have with them now, that must be a dream come true.
That is still the most pinch me thing, because it's just so 360. It's almost too 360. Like, I was always, when I was younger, when I had no money, the Primark girl. Like, I'd always be in Primark, and I would find it like, what's the word? I'd love it. I'd thrive off of going to Primark and finding a bargain outfit. And then everyone's saying, where's that from? You say Primark. They're like, what? That's Primark. Yeah, that's Primark. And I found it. And that was my thing. That was like my vice. Like, everyone knew me for Primark. And then I started a Facebook group called Perrie's Primark Picks. This was before Instagram, which is what's even more 360. Wow. And this group, I created a community, it's 8,000 people in there, where we used to share our Primark finds. And I would go to Primark and say, girls, guys, this is what I found this week. They've got this, they've got that. And then other people would post their finds in there, and it became the community. I feel like when your community start engaging with your community, that's when you got a community. You know what I mean? When they become friends. So I was like, this is amazing. Then transitioned onto Instagram, and my thing with Primark was always just, I would go in, find the best things, and do a Primark haul. Right. Then the Come to Primark with me started, which was basic. I don't know where it came from, but one day I was like, I'm going to do a voiceover of me finding what's good in Primark and what's bad. And I started doing these Come to Primark with me, and I would just say funny comments about some of the things. Oh, that's something like my nan would wear on Christmas Day, like just like witty things, and people just absolutely loved it. Like, they thought it was so funny, because I wasn't afraid to tell Primark when they were wrong, but I also always followed it up with a positive haul, a try on. None of this was paid, by the way. The first time I ever got paid by Primark was Perrie's Primark Picks. Wow. I've never worked with them in a paid way before, because I always sort of knew in the back of my mind there was going to be a moment. I never thought it was going to be this moment where they allowed me to be 100% myself. They knew I didn't want a photo shoot or anything. I wanted to shoot my pics in my wardrobe, you know, with people that I love. I wanted to be in my environment with my dogs. Like, they allowed me to be 100% myself, and they know that I'm still new to this whole media, and, you know, even this is my first sit down proper podcast like I've ever done.
You're so like, smashing it,
oh,
sweetie.
thank you.
Smashing
all of these sorts of things are so new to me, so they've been very careful with me, but also just allowed me to be so involved. They knew I wanted to pick all the product. They knew I was going to make comments, good and bad, and they've just allowed me to 100% be myself. So obviously we've got another one coming out, and hopefully long may it continue, because I just think it makes so much sense for them.
Yeah, and I think also, like you say, I think when I look at some of my favourite influencers, like Melissa's wardrobe,
she's a great example.
I trust her because she tells me if it's shit, or she tells me if it's wonderful. Yeah. So I think you do And I think what's interesting about these big brands now is that they're really understanding that, of course, no one ever believes that you solely wear Primark.
No.
That we believe that you love this and you might wear this. And I think it's this kind of new way of thinking, which is so refreshing, which is probably born from influencers like yourselves saying, you know, get this from here, but don't get this. Honesty is so key.
This is why I knew starting Reason that I wasn't just going to can in all my other work. It
wasn't so smart.
It wasn't a case of, oh, I'm now a brand owner, so I don't wear any other brands. No, I can't wear my own brand 24/7. It's impossible, because what am I wearing on holiday?
Yes.
You know, what am I wearing when I'm going to someone's wedding? Like, what, tracksuit? That's going to look good.
You can travel there.
Yeah, I can travel there in it. But you want to wear your own brand, champion your own brand. But I also love Primark. I love Topshop. I love ASOS. I love Zara. I love H&M. Like, I shop from everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like an amalgamation, and that's like so great. And I feel like that's what the world is now.
And also that's what we all do.
Yes.
We're not all just, you know, loyal to one brand. There will have favourites, of course, but we all get a little bit from everywhere, don't we? I wonder, before I do our rocket round, I want to ask you, has your kind of idea of success changed? You know, from like the Perrie that was trying to sort of fight to pay the debts off and kind of lead a certain lifestyle. I mean, you're now fortunate enough, of course, and we always say that I don't ever like to say the word lucky, or because I think you create your own luck, right? You're kind of there knocking down doors and making sure your life has paved itself in this way. But has your idea of success changed to the idea that you had back then?
Yeah, I think my idea of success back then was like anything was success, which sounds extremely strange to say, but like any brand deal was successful. Like any new follower was a success. Like I'm growing. I think growth was success for me back then. It still is now, but I'm now starting to understand personal growth is a success to me. Like committing to a brand trip, like putting myself out there in the TV world a bit more and going to red carpets and really enjoying the fruits of my labour. That to me is now success. And I'm not going to slow down. One thing about me is I'll never slow down, but I am going to find ways to just, like having that nice holiday over Christmas, just sit back and be like, wow, like this is the fruits of your labour. Enjoy that nice hotel, enjoy that little treat, that sort of thing.
It's so important to do. For many years, me and my husband I always say I could not have one other break throughout the year, but that Christmas time.
Yeah, I've just learnt this.
It's because everyone believes you when you say you're having a holiday. That's what I think, because everyone's off.
This is the new thing.
So no one's chasing you. Yeah. No one's, you know, the only emails you really get are like, you know, junk sale things that are like Boxing Day sales. Yeah. I'm like, oh, amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a really protected piece of time for us. So everyone always says, oh, you go away every Christmas. And I'm like, we do. And we do the build up here. But we just love that, particularly now as our family has grown, it's not just us anymore. It's so concentrated, and it takes me that many weeks to actually switch off.
I didn't.
You know, when you go away for a sort of little period of time, you're like, oh God, I'm not used to this yet. And so, I'm like, we work all year for that trip.
I can't, honestly, I cannot even explain how much I agree, because I never realised it until I went. And the only thing I wish when I got there was that I'd gone sooner and I'd done Christmas as well, because we did Christmas at home and went like the 29th. I was like, why didn't I just go sooner? That break is so important.
It's so 100%. Important to take that time for 100%. Yourself. It really, really is. And obviously it's a luxury to be able to do it, but if you can, it really, really is important.
Even just switching off at home, like saying to yourself, do you know, I'm at home with my family, but I struggle with that. I do need to tend to go somewhere, at least, even if it was in the UK, but just that is the time that everyone else is switch off. So why shouldn't I?
Yes, absolutely that. And make sure that you do. Like, you must pressure yourself to do it. Right, I want to do our rocket round now.
Yes, amazing.
These are our quick fire questions that we ask everybody.
Okay.
First one is, what do you believe are the non-negotiables for running a business?
Consistency, 100%, showing up every day. And I think a real non-negotiable is about like your attitude and your positive attitude. Like, it's really important that you don't seep any negativity and toxicity into the people you're working with. And you're not going to be able to be happy-go-lucky every single day. But if you can control how you're feeling, it really impacts how everyone else is feeling. So for me, every meeting, every Zoom, every sign-off, every one-to-one session, I'm always, you know, channeling positive energy, going it really happy, guns a-blazing, to give that positive energy so I get that back. I think that's really important. And also, as well, just don't have huge expectations. I would say enjoy the journey, and what comes with it will come. Like, don't focus on you have to hit this and you have to do that. Obviously you have goals, but don't get so hung up on them that you're losing sight of why you're doing it.
That's very good advice. Very good advice. When did you first realise that you were truly launched?
that first launch, I would say. That was when I was like, wow, we've done something here. And I think because it was so impactful, it felt like the wheels were already turning, and then they started turning at a rate that we were like, wow, we have done something that people really believe in, and now our task is to not drop off the face of the earth, and we keep it there, we keep growing. So the work has only just begun. You know, yes, we've had an amazing launch, we've had an amazing 3 months, but we are an infant brand. We have got so much to prove, so much to go at. But that initial launch, I could sit here and safely say, wow, this is now we're entering the space.
We've launched.
Yeah, we've launched. We're here.
We've arrived. The rocket's off. What's the first thing you do when you wake up and the last thing you do before you go to bed?
Wow, we were having this conversation. I would like to say it was something extremely positive, but I can be in a toxic cycle of waking up and checking my phone. However, when I'm in a great routine, I will say that I was getting up and just going straight to the gym or straight to Pilates. And I have promised myself, this is my last busy week. I'm going to get back into, it's not my last busy week, that was a total lie. It's my last week of not being at home for a while.
Yes.
I am getting back into some sort of morning movement.
Yeah.
I know you're really passionate about this.
I am, but it's, like you say, it is hard when you know that you've got so much on. And what I hate about that is I know that it's the thing that makes me feel the best, but it's the thing that I'll always sacrifice when I know that I'm busy. I'm like, oh, I can't, shit, I've got to get them to school, then I've got to get to, and I'm
or it's
like,
just like I'm tired and I want an extra hour in bed. It's like, for me, my sleep. One thing about me is that I really respect my sleep, and I've like, we'll talk about the aura ring, like I want to have a good night's sleep because I know when I have good sleep I'm firing on all cylinders. Like if you catch Perrie with 9 hours sleep, I'd be afraid. She's a hurricane. She's going to take on the world. Do you know what I mean? But if I've had 6 hours, I'm not worth being around. So I'm like a very much a sleep person.
Your dream morning is sort of like you say, having a bit of, because I think for me, I'm not sure about you, where my days are so different. And I'm in a similar vein where I work on lots of different projects that aren't mine, so brands that I've worked with for many years, but then I have my own businesses too. Each day is very different. So I think I do also like consistency and I like routine. So the only time I can gain it for myself is in the morning. And stupidly, when I'm busy, it's the thing that I lose when I know that it's the thing that makes me feel the best. I can only really, if I'm going to work out, it's going to be in the morning. Like I couldn't imagine going all day and then working out. It's not in me. So I'm like, then I need to get up earlier, and it's like, do I want to sacrifice the sleep? Then I need to go to bed. It's a vicious cycle, but a new Pilates place has just opened near me, and I'm like, this is my opportunity. Get in there and just move my body. It really does set me up for the day. And then at night, the thing is about me and what I do is my nighttime is very work heavy, even though I kind of would like to say it isn't. It is, because I do all my editing, all my personal editing, and all like my uploading and like my community building. But I can't sit here and say to you, Rochelle, I don't like doing that, because I do. So I don't feel like it's a burden. But like for me, unwinding in the evening is putting on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Oh, gorgeous.
Like that sort of vibe. Like I'm an easy
almost
person.
Almost a bit of like escapism telly.
I'm an easy person. A little scroll on TikTok, nothing major. Online shopping, and I'm good to go.
Nice. I always say, because I'll come in, my husband will walk in and he'll be like, what is this? And I'm like, it's like candy floss for the brain.
Have you watched Salt Lake City?
No. I'm
gonna have to go.
Do I need to watch that one?
Rochelle, that's
really,
not fair.
I'm really in Potomac.
Who are you?
Oh, it's good. I loved it.
What season are you on of Potomac?
I've done most.
Okay, no. Right. If you think Potomac, I cannot even believe you've watched that.
I'm on it.
If I could have one thing in my life.
There are so many Real Housewives everywhere. Like,
guys,
how should we keep
everyone in this room, listen to me, right? If I could do one thing in my life, it would be to go back and start that series again. That's the only thing I want.
So you're a bit jealous of me right now that I've got this ahead of me.
I'm so jealous. Like, seriously. It is absolute gold, and it's escapism. It's escapism.
I mean, that's what we need when it's been stressful. Let's watch someone else.
I can't wait for the updates. You've got 6 seasons to watch.
Fantastic. Wow. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yes.
What is one piece of advice that you wish that you hadn't listened to?
One piece of advice I wish I hadn't listened to. Do you know what? Is that you don't have time. Like, you don't have time to do a business, or, you don't have time to take on another project, because I feel like I can always make time, and as long as I'm comfortable with making the time, then that should be enough for everybody. I feel like that's more of a family thing. Like, it's like my family, I have a great relationship with them. I'm very much like the person in my family everyone comes to now. It's like I sort of like give all the advice and all of that, which is great, but they also like care about me, and they're like, don't overwork yourself. My mum, don't burn yourself out, like you're here, there, everywhere. But I'm like, Mum, I'm good, I'm thriving. I love it. Like, I love the hustle and bustle, but like, she's your mum, like, I'm very grateful to have her care about me so much. But I think there was definitely people that maybe thought, maybe even including Ricky, sorry to throw you under the bus, like, that thought maybe starting a business, starting Reason, was that beyond my means? Like, I'm already be doing X, Y, Z, 20 other different things. But actually not listening has quite frankly been one of the best things I've ever done. Sorry Ricky. Yeah. You're probably not even listening.
It's like when it's like Marv will say to me, I'm like, what do you think, this or this? And then he'll give me his opinion and he'll be like, why have you asked?
Yeah.
Like, do you just want to like sounding board? Because you actually don't care.
Yeah, you definitely are not going to take my advice.
Yeah, exactly
literally.
What's a skill that you'd love to learn?
I've always said I'd just love to learn another language.
Ooh,
Can you
yes.
speak another language?
No.
Like, not for any other reason that when I see people that speak 2 languages, 3 languages, I'm like, wow, that really can get you far in this world.
It stops you in your tracks too, doesn't it? It's
it
like,
does.
Wow, it's so overly impressive.
We've just bought a place in Spain and it's in quite a rural part of Spain where people speak English, but it would definitely be great if you could speak Spanish. I mean, I've got hola in my belt and that's about it. So I would love to do that. But
that would be a good thing to sort of switch your brain off.
Yeah.
It'd be quite a good thing to start.
And Ricky always says he wants to do it as well. He's half Indian, so he wants to learn how to properly speak Hindi. We probably won't.
It'd be quite a good thing to do.
We should. Yeah. And we could document it.
Yeah, there you go.
So there we go. You
a
might
good thing to switch yourself off from the busy
2027, I'll be here speaking Spanish.
I can't. Well, I'm going to hold you to that. Yeah. What's one thing that you wish that someone had told you before you started your career?
Before I started my career, what one? I think I wish someone would have told me that. I wish someone would advise me not to be so emotional. Like, it will get difficult. You are going to be put in situations you don't want to be in. You're going to maybe meet people that aren't your people. You know, there's going to be a lot of tough times. Don't take it all so emotionally. Don't take it all to heart because it's those like taking it to bed moments. And I do look back and think you were so hard on yourself. You didn't need to be that hard on yourself.
Yes.
Like, everyone's going through it. Also, talk to people about how you feel. Why am I so afraid to open up to people and tell them how I feel and have honest conversations? And another thing as well, sorry, I'm going to give you 10 answers per one. It's supposed to be rocket round.
This is going well, this quick fire.
Yeah, this rocket's going to infinity, apparently. Literally.
We love it. We take it all.
I feel like, just be like, don't be afraid to confront people as well. I've always had a bit of an issue as well with, even though I'm loud and whatever, with just telling people like how it is, not in a bad way, just like if I'm upset about something or something's not vibing with me or someone's hurt me, tell them.
Yeah.
And own that. And like,
it's
own your
okay.
feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not a bad person, like just because like they've said something to, offend you or upset you or just something that's made you feel a little bit some sort of way. Own it and move on. Don't brush it under the carpet. And that's something that I'm slowly, but I wish someone would have told me just to do that earlier on.
I do think that comes with kind of like confidence and time and almost like growing.
Yeah.
Like you trust yourself a little more to say, hang on a minute, I'm not comfortable with this.
And I'm a bit of a yes. I know I'm a yes person. I want to please everyone. Like I want to be there for everyone, do everything. I can't always do that. And I'm now slowly starting to learn that I can't be at every single thing, like with my friends and stuff. Like I can't say yes to everything. I'm not going to respond to every single WhatsApp straight away. You're probably going to have to bug me 60 times. And I'm like, I'm starting to learn that that's okay.
Yeah, and I think we all need to get to a place where we learn to give ourselves that grace.
Exactly.
Because sometimes it's the pressure of things that you haven't done or the things that you haven't shown up to that actually play on your mind too. So it's 100%. Giving yourself grace that everyone's kind of in their own little rat race,
100%.
Aren't they? Oh, I like this one. What would be the dream collab for Reason or who? Like brand on brand or maybe ambassador, if you're like thinking outside of yourself.
So we never have set out to be like a brand that would collaborate with a person, only because that was Adam's in the style business model.
Right.
And even though it was incredible, I think it's the most high stress thing you can do because you are then having a third person in the mix and it's like that person is now responsible for, your like selling your brand's clothes and then it's just a big amalgamation of stress basically. And it's like working with people that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily work with. However, one person that I just love who I think has just built the most incredible community and I think is actually just one of those people that is just so genuine is Mrs. Hinch.
Oh, yes.
And I just think, I look at her and I think, I love you because you have not been on TV, you've not been a media personality, it's kind of, I relate to her.
Say, you relate to her.
Yeah, it's like you, not accidentally, but the universe again, they gave you something and I remember seeing her on 50,000 followers. Look at her now. And
it's
she's so genuine. Like
and
I just think she actually wears Reason a lot. She loves it because she's tall. We obviously do tall. And I just think she would be great because she's been a customer first. She loves the brand and it would be a great story because I just feel like she fits our customer.
It all goes back to, you know, with you and the story is that authenticity. And, you know, it's authentic because she, like you say, she's a genuine customer.
I mean, there's loads of great people, but I think for brand wise, I would love us to do a pop-up of some sort and start doing that customer activation, that face-to-face. You know, we could do Selfridges, like all of that. Like, I just think it makes sense as a business. I think for me, I would love to have like a standalone store, like where I can meet people and come in, but that's a big thing. That's like a 5-year plan sort of thing. But definitely to have a store like in Manchester and London, incredible.
That's on the vision board.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, you will. You totally
100%.
will.
I'll have no hair, but I'll do it.
You'll do it. I'll be there. I'll interview you and be like, so you're bald, but this is fantastic.
You're bald and you're speaking Spanish.
I'm so proud of you. And then lastly, if you could choose one female figure as a mentor, past or present, who would it be?
So mine's recently changed, and I was having this conversation with someone the other day. I've never really had like a mentor or somebody that I've been like, wow, because I think that I fit into a lot of different boxes.
Yes.
But one person that has impacted me so much recently is Taylor Swift. Okay,
oh, wow,
hear me out on this.
I'm ready.
It's not that she's a singer or anything. Have you watched, I'm going to influence you again,
the documentary?
Have you watched it?
No, I've not seen it yet. It's on our list.
Please. I watched it and could not stop thinking about it for weeks.
Really?
She is, I'm inspired by her as a person, how she handles her business. She's the biggest superstar in the world. Like, come on, her and Beyonce, like, rival it out, whatever. But the way in which she works with her team, she speaks to her staff, the way in which she engages in her work, she's so passionate, but she's so emotional. And I really related to the emotional side of it, and where she, you know, she gave, what was it, $350,000 bonuses to every single one of her dancers.
I saw those clips that went viral, like, and I was like, this is just, gorgeous.
Who else is doing that?
Yeah.
And then there was a clip of her meeting the victims of that awful attack that happened in the UK, and you can just see how humble and like she's genuinely like grief stricken over this. And also I think it goes to show when like her mum is with her all the time. Like, my mum works with me as well. Like, she's got the people around her that like her family, and then also just seeing her fall in love and all of that just made me think, you are the person that I want to be, like, as a person. Wow. Like, you inspire me. Like, I'm not a singer. We know that I'm not that great. Like, I could do a tune, but I'm not getting like a Taylor Swift residency in Vegas. Do you know what I mean?
You never know,
girl. Yeah, you never know. At this point,
it's not, it wouldn't surprise me.
But what I can do is remember where I'm from, be humble, and I have a really interesting dynamic. Like, Ricky's sister, my dad, my mum, Ricky's mum, they all work with me. Like, we have like a family team. And I'm like, I want to, one of my biggest motivations is to reward the people around me that couldn't reward themselves. Like, I want to be able to give great lifestyles to the people that mean the most to me. And that's what she's done. And just seeing that and how it's impact, like, getting $350,000, like, that's a life-changing amount of money.
Absolutely that
really inspired me, and I thought, wow, if I could just be a bit of you, not on that scale, but a bit of you, that would be incredible.
It almost reaffirmed who you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to watch that as well.
I will. Gosh,
watch that first, and then do Salt Lake.
Yeah, and then Love Island's on at the minute.
I've not been even keeping up with that one. But
there's only so many hours.
There's only so much TV you can watch. Yeah, exactly.
Each episode, I ask every guest to leave a tip, almost like a tangible piece of advice that if somebody was listening to this right now and they kind of really have watched your journey or have just discovered you for the first time and really admire what they've heard, if someone's looking to sort of have a career in a similar vein to yours, what would like one nugget of information be that you think that they would need to know?
I am going to give a bit of a different spin on it. I just want anyone watching this that, you know, would take that is I want you to think really big, because this is something that I did do and I didn't do. Like, I put myself in a box, but I did think really big. And the Primark thing, just to go back to that, the day that my Primark picks launched, that was the biggest day they've ever had on the website of online sales. And I say that not to brag, but I say that because humble brag. I say that because I have worked alongside that brand without being paid for years and years and years and years. And I've had my eyes set on that relationship for years, since I was 15 years old, if we really look at it, before I was an influencer. And I think that ultimately, if you can get whatever you want, truly, but you have got to hone in on what you want, and you've got to show up every day and be consistent about it. But I think no dream is too big. Like, that for me, when I was 15 years old, that to me was like something that was never possible. Like it didn't even enter my imagination. And as the years went on and, they like to post. They started following me. They've given me a DM. Like things start changing and evolving. So I think just set your sights high, but be prepared. Be prepared to fall. And if you fall, you get up and you just do it all over again. Be prepared to fail. Ultimately, all of the failures, I'm only sitting here now because I've failed enough times to sit here.
Yes.
And you never need to be afraid of any failures, and always just know that anything is possible. And this is something that I still want to tell myself, okay, it's possible for me to now step into a new reality, step into the TV world, I should step onto red carpets. I deserve it. And I don't want to stop myself anymore. So no dream is ever too big. And as long as you're willing to show up every day, it's going to happen.
And just really quickly, you do step onto red carpets now, and I saw the fashion awards, and wow. I mean, come on. If you get a step out like that.
Step out! Yes,
absolutely.
I love it. It's such I've just always been, I don't know why, putting myself in that box again. Like, why would I go to that? Is anyone going to talk to me? Like, am I going to feel really weird?
It's almost like you have your...
you're a pro.
No, because we're all kind of in this same world. And I don't know about you, but I enjoy it once I'm in. All of that whole build up, it's fun. They're getting ready, and I love all the pre-stuff
and getting the photos,
picking the dress, and doing all that. But the build up to getting on the carpet makes me feel sick, and then I get in and I'm okay.
Yeah,
like I find it really intense. It's very overstimulating.
I feel like at the fashion awards, what I wasn't expecting is the carpet is the thing. Like the whole carpet is the moment.
Babe, you could go home.
Like the stairs, no, but people were. I was like, are you?
No, I need to go in. I need the glass of champagne.
Yeah, like I did literally, but I was like, the steps are like such a moment. It's like there's a social on the steps. It's very much, but everyone's lovely. Like when you actually do it, I was like, wow, like chill out.
Everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah,
but I think one thing that's kind of like apparent with you is you almost, it's like you struggle to believe the rooms and the opportunities that you're getting.
Yeah, and
you're in a bit of a conflict with that.
Yeah, I am.
But you deserve to be in every single room that you're in. It's honestly like, the success, the numbers, the kind of. The one consistent thing with, different points of your career have been successful in different ways, but the one consistent thing is you. Yeah. So there's not, that, In the Style was great and Primark's great and, and of course they're amazing brands, but you're the consistent thread here. So you need to believe that because you're killing it. You absolutely are. I've loved this.
Yeah.
I've loved talking to you, but before I let you go, I like to know how everyone spends their lunch hour, because we talk about launching.
Okay.
And when it comes to being a lady who lunches,
right,
if you're kind of working or you're on the go or you're shooting content, what is your kind of typical lunch and where are you?
Normally typical lunch is at home and I have it quite late because I like to do all my filming sort of in the morning and like mid-afternoon. I'd say my lunch is about 2-3 o'clock and I'm sat at my dining room table, preferably no one's talking to me. That would be my dream lunch, silence. Social battery is 0 and I'm forcing myself to eat. So I'm very much that sort of person where I'm like, I forget I need to eat. Come on,
I've not had lunch yet.
Eat. And probably just checking in on things, but like in a calm way. So just like checking in on what's going on with Reason, checking in with my manager, checking in what's going on in the social media world, just like a nice bit of quiet time. And I actually, now you've brought that up, I do pretty much have that every single day. And maybe that's more important to me than what I realise.
Yeah.
It's like I would call it a decompress hour.
Okay.
I'm decompressing.
Yes.
So I've like had a lot of what I am the multitasker of all multitaskers. So like in the morning when I'm doing my makeup, I'll be on a Zoom call and I'll be like camera off, guys, but I'm listening. That's my like admin time, preferably after the gym, but obviously we know where we're at with that. And then I have the morning of filming, shooting my brand ads, all of that stuff. And then my lunch is like my decompress. And then
bit of a working lunch.
Yeah. And then after that, it's like, okay, I'm either going to go record the pod or I'm going to go to the shopping centre, go to Primark. That can happen a lot of times. Or I've just got an afternoon at home and it's quite nice. But that lunch hour is definitely decompressed time. Reconnect.
And what are you eating? What's your favourite kind of, like, what's your go-to if you're indoors and you're like, okay, quick lunch?
I like really weird food. I don't think we're not going to be
We've had some weird stuff on here.
We're not going to be on the same vibe. What I will say is I wish I ate like you.
What?
Healthy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I tried. Not always.
Okay.
I mean, pasta was my lunch yesterday, and a big bowl at that.
I just like. I mean, I'm so like. Ricky's going to be really laughing. I can just tell. But I just like a slice of toast, something stupid. I know it sounds ridiculous.
But that's not.
A sandwich, like a cheese sandwich. Like my favourite thing. It's just a plain cheese sandwich.
This isn't weird.
I don't know, but it just feels weird to me. It's not anything exciting. Or sometimes if Ricky's mum, bless her, will make me some breakfast and I'll have like scrambled egg on toast. I don't know, something like that. Very beige, very basic, but just fuel to keep me going, basically.
Okay, I like
Nothing
that.
exciting.
Simple.
What I will always have is a coffee. I'm always a one coffee in the morning, 100%. And then my sort of like thing is I always have just one sugar-free Red Bull in the afternoon on my lunch break. Just one, no
That's
more.
Not where I saw this goes. Right,
No.
so we've got sugar-free Red Bull and a slice of toast.
Yeah, I can't go. Well, no, maybe sliced toast is a bit under. Probably like a cheese.
A cheese sandwich.
Something, you know, I do need to get better with my eating. At one point I was really good and now I've fallen off the wagon again. I'm up and
but
down.
again, it's the other thing, isn't it? And also you grab for convenience. Like a cheese sandwich is quite easy when you're on the go.
Or sometimes I'm like on Deliveroo, Uber Eats, get something delivered, like, you know.
You can be good on there now.
Yeah.
There's more options.
Yeah, well, there isn't actually where I live. It's like, do you want an Indian takeaway at 3 p.m?
Okay.
I'm like, let me think about that.
You know when you move out, when the options come, when I go to my mum's, I'm like, I'm just going to get something on Deliveroo.
And you're like, no.
I'm like, what,
it's like tumbleweed.
It's 11 a.m.
11 a.m. But no, I have to have my coffee and my fuel 100. And I'm getting into matcha.
Oh, good.
God, like, what is this matcha?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to give you some. I'll give you a whole kit. It's the best. Do you know why I think you like it?
Right.
It's because it's slow release caffeine.
This is the thing.
That's what I find the best.
Do you put something in yours, though, to make it taste a little bit sweeter?
I don't now, but I'm like an avid matcha drinker. But like you can have like some vanilla or
yeah, so I feel like I'm in the era
or
of I'm going to need to like...
bit of maple syrup's quite
something
nice.
in there. Like the Blank Street one is my favourite.
Yeah. See, that's too sweet for me, but that's because I'm like a real...
Do you think in time I'll maybe...
Yeah, but like cinnamon's really good as well too.
I'm going to get a matcha after this, actually.
There you go. There's quite a few good spots down
Perfect.
here. Thank you so much. I've absolutely loved this. You have absolutely smashed it.
Thank you so much.
Do the brand trips.
Yes.
Push yourself this year because you've got it.
Yeah.
You push yourself in every other direction.
Yeah.
I think you just got to believe it now.
100%, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow us on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts to make sure that you don't miss out, because next time we're going to be talking to another incredible lady who launched. If, like me, you're a watcher, then follow us on YouTube and please don't forget to like and subscribe.